Hello everyone and welcome to Whole Dog Care podcast, helping you to live in natural harmony with your dog. Today we have a very special guest with us. We have Archie from Archie Hamilton Hypnotherapy, and I am living proof that it works and also that you don't have to cluck like a chicken. So welcome Archie, it's really good to have you here.
It's really good to be here today, thank you very much.
So could you just start off by telling everybody what hypnotherapy is?
Hypnotherapy, the best description I can think of hypnotherapy is starting a rumour in the brain. So, whilst the person's in a trance state, you have the access past with both the conscious and subconscious mind, and you start rumours. So, if somebody's feeling depressed or anxious, you can actually make them feel content, happy, relaxed, confident. By just seeding that thought in the brain, you get past those guards, and you get that right into the middle of the brain. One thing about neurons is they love to gossip. So if you can get that little bit of information into the middle of the brain, the neurons will pass it around very, very quickly. A client will notice a difference in 1, 2, 3 sessions. It's amazing how quickly it actually works, because that's the beauty of hypnotherapy. It's a quick thing. It does take 66 days for it to become a permanent feature, because that's the neuroplasticity taking place. So,
how did you get into this line of work?
I got into this line of work because I'm also a natural state healer, which is a bit like Reiki, and I discovered more and more of my clients were actually suffering from mental health problems, that although I was making them feel good for a day a week, I wasn't actually getting to the bottom of what was going on with them, and I wasn't giving them the resources to be able to carry on from there. My motto is, you're not broken, you've just lost the instruction manual. To give people back that instruction manual. So that's how I got into hypnotherapy. I looked through a whole pile of different mental health techniques and things, and decided that's really the one that I thought was the most appropriate. So I'm solution-based hypnotherapist, that's what I do.
Perfect. And obviously, like, we met when I was very broken, and I had suffered from depression and anxiety. Antidepressants just made me more suicidal, and I think initially when we first started working together, you just sent me a meditation, and I felt instantly better after doing that one meditation. And how can you kind of maybe explain to people how the natural thing works in terms, because antidepressants are good but they're not always the answer.
Antidepressants tend to work. Most antidepressants now they just stop down the breakdown of serotonin in the bloodstream. So they're not actually producing serotonin, they're just stopping the breakdown. So great, if you're producing some serotonin, they'll hold on to it for longer, which means it builds up so you feel better. But there is side effects, as you see. Some of them can actually cause suicidal tendencies, which is not great. How does a trance session work? So basically what I sent you was a trance session set to music. So the dog's now joining in. So
it wouldn't be a dog podcast without a bark.
No, it wouldn't be. It's certainly not a doggy podcast anyway. So the trance session. It was a trance session set to music that I sent you. The trance sessions are always in 3 parts. So the first part is just relaxation. The second part's what they call a deep nerve, where we talk about, that's the bit where we talk about gardens and waterfalls and windmills and all sorts of nice things, like, that's the bit that does that. Then basically all I do is tell you how amazing you are.
Yeah.
And because we've got access to both your conscious and your subconscious mind, that sits in. We get past all the primitive guards, we get right into that part of the brain, and the brain starts to react. As I said to you before, neurons love to gossip. It just starts a fire inside your head, and you start to feel confident and relaxed from the inside out.
And I suppose, for me, I always say to people, that was the only thing that worked for me. I tried everything, and it's a mixture of both for me. Exercise really helps, especially running. That kind of helps me kind of keep my head in place. But that was the only thing that worked for me, and I always tell people that you gave me my life back, and that sounds like a huge statement, but it very much is.
The big thing is, often I am the last person people come to, because hypnotherapy, it's out there, although it's now fairly well accepted, it's still one of the alternative therapies that people, they'll go through counselling, they'll go through CBT, they'll go through various other ones to get to me before they come to me. You can't help everyone, but I must admit I like to think I'm in the 90% when I help people. What makes it different is, as I say, it's just being able to get into that brain. It bypasses the primitive guard. I also use a lot of other people's techniques. I steal anything. I'm not proud. I will use NLP techniques. I will use some CBT techniques. I will use techniques that I think will help the client. But behind it all is the trance session, which actually just gives you that extra boost to get it into there. So, but I actually laugh at the number of clients that say, "Well, like, you're my last chance."
The last resort.
And the last resort. If they've come through my door in the real days when you used to do people, but now I'm all completely online. When they come onto that Zoom stream, that is the first step. They've made the biggest step they can becoming. So.
Yeah, totally. And I think, do you find that there's still maybe like a stigma, because we've all seen, the jokey ones where, people are brought up to a stage and, they are taught to cluck like chickens or do really stupid stuff. Do you think that sometimes there's that barrier there because of that?
Oh, there's definitely a barrier there because of that. And it's even worse in the States. I deal with people in America, and it's even worse with them because they just don't get the whole thing at all. There's more acceptance in Britain now that it's a therapy. Basically due to stop smoking, let's be honest. The stop smoking was the big one. That was the one that brought everybody coming out to the woodwork. In trance, I cannot make you do anything you don't want to do. Stage hypnosis works by the people that go to see a stage hypnotist are actually there to have fun. So their brain is actually open to the suggestion that they want to cluck like chicken and have a word that makes them do that. If I tried to do that to you during a trance session, you would just come out of the trance. You'd be out like that.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it always just seems like a nice sleep. And quite often, I still religiously do the meditations. I do that every night, and sometimes I'll fall asleep and I kind of wake up and go, "Oh, where did Archie go?" Because there's that you're talking to me, and I'm really calm and relaxed. And I think it's like an ongoing thing, isn't it? You have to kind of look after yourself.
It is an ongoing thing. I mean, I've got clients who've been using that same meditation for years and years and years now, and it helps. It's like when we're doing the sessions. That trance session on I could say tape, but that's showing my age. But that's the thing. That bit there keeps the continuity there. So we do a session. Your brain loves repetitiveness, so we get that back in there. So when you hear that CD or link, whatever it may be at the moment, it actually it reminds your brain of all the sessions we've done in the past. So if it's looking for something, the brain will then go back into its archives and will find the one about relaxation. If you're needing confidence to do something in particular, it'll find those. It's amazing how the one you're talking about, the one that you listen to at night, has got so many different things in it, but your brain will either pick out the relaxation part of it or it'll pick out the confidence part of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's kind of like exercise, isn't it? It's like, I always liken it to running, so you're training the muscle, so the muscle kind of remembers what you need to do to make or to keep yourself well. So it's like I do easy running one day a week because it's not so hard on my muscles, but it's training me to run longer distances. Yeah. And initially I couldn't really understand how that worked. If I was running quite slow, I was always thinking that you had to go hell for leather when you're running, but that's not the case, and I suppose it's quite similar.
Yeah, it's muscle memory. It's muscle memory. The brain's like a bit like a muscle at times, and you've got to train it to become more and more positive looking, more positive thinking. But a great thing about you just mentioned there is running. I believe in the 3 Ps. So 3 Ps are positive actions, which is you're running, you're going to the gym, playing football. Positive interactions are this, talking, having fun, talking to people in a positive way. Positive thought is the third one, and that's a bit more hard to explain, because that's just the way you look at things, and that's where hypnotherapy come in. We get you changing from a negative point of view to looking at things from a more positive point of view. The same incident can be both positive and negative. Example, I had a client who the first session we ever met was, we haven't done very much today, I had to cut the grass. So that was a negative. 2 weeks later, when we're going through what positive things have you done this week, it was, well, it was really good Sunday, I managed to get the grass cut because it was sunny. Suddenly the same incident is a positive from a positive point of view, and it's that switch inside your head. But keep up the running, keep up the talking to people, keep up meeting people, because that's the things that if you want to find a reason for somebody that's struggling, the first thing they will start dropping off is the exercise, and they'll also start to drop off their interaction with other people. So that friend who finds who is struggling to come out for a night out, that's a prime example that maybe starting to slip a bit and need a bit of support.
And I think one of the positive things, certainly from my perspective, was that you say you do it mostly online, and you know, people don't even need to look at you, you know, in order to get the treatment.
Nope.
And I think for people suffering with anxiety, that can be a huge thing, like having to go out the house, having to look at you, you know, so a lot of your stuff is done online. It's
all my stuff's now done online. I used to work in the clinics. That's how I work. That's how I work with people. And I was a bit concerned when I first started working online, I would lose that connection. Yes, you'll lose the ability to read the body. Body language becomes more difficult. You read the face far better, because I can actually see your face when we're talking to you on far more. If I stood and stared at your face for 40 minutes in a clinic setting, you would think I was really weird. So we can actually do that online. You can study the face and see the reactions to things better. But by and large, my worst clients have never left the house in 2 years or more. They would never come to me. They can now do it on Zoom. Some of those don't even have the camera switched on for the first 2 or 3 sessions.
So you're reaching people that you otherwise wouldn't
reach.
have.
And also, the clients were in a better place. The ones that are maybe business people that are just struggling with procrastination and confidence, they don't want to take 3 hours out of their day to come to see me. They're quite happy to take an hour out of their day or an hour out of their evening to do it. But 3 hours against 1 hour, why not? Just Zoom call. And the results, I haven't noticed any difference at all.
Well, look at me, I'm living proof.
Yes,
here.
you are.
And I always say, I don't know whether you'll take this as a compliment or not, but I always say that you're the dad that I wish I should have had. You know, it's like,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We've become really good friends, and you're always there as like a sounding board as well, which I feels good. It's not like job and done. You know, I can come back to you, and I think that's what's really important. People need that connection as well.
It is funny that I have some clients who I will see for 10 weeks or for my sessions, and then I'll never see them again until something maybe tragic happens in their life that they do need a little bit more help with. But other clients I will see all the way through. I have now got clients in the States especially who I've seen every week for 2, 3, 4 years. But now I'm more of a life mentor, a business mentor, a sounding board. I'm there to just give them that support and also accountability that some people need. And because I'm somebody they trust, that's the big thing. So it makes it easy.
Building that relationship. And obviously it wouldn't be an animal podcast if I didn't ask you about animals. Now I know that hypnotherapy and dealing with people is very much what you do, but you also kind of delve into helping animals as well.
Yes, well, I must admit, as I say, I came from a healing background, so over the last probably 3 years I've done very little with animals until the last 3 months, in which case I think I've had one chihuahua with bowel problems. I've had a couple of collies with pulled muscles and things like that, and at the moment I'm actually treating a lovely big horse called Ace who has got a tendon problem, so that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Animals, I certainly find anyway that animals are very, very more responsive to that sort of work, literally because they don't have the preconceived ideas that us humans have.
Well, I think animals are far more responsive. The problem with animals, they can't tell you where the sore bit is. And they also, you've got to do a lot of what I would term energy cuddling with an animal to get them used to the feeling of whatever energy you're putting into them before you go straight to the sore spot. Because you go straight to the sore spot, they have no idea what this feeling they're suddenly feeling inside their leg is, or whatever part it may be. So you've got to give them big cuddles. What's wrong with giving a horse a cuddle? Nothing. Or a dog a cuddle. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
And I suppose, just before we kind of get ready to wrap up, Archie, can you just tell people who are maybe struggling, needing that a little bit of help, who are kind of on the fence about whether or not hypnotherapy is going to be for them, where can they find you? Where can they come and chat to you?
I have my website, which is hypno.scot. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to speak to somebody. I'm more than happy to have an initial consultation and probably a session if it's appropriate, for nothing, a free session to get them used to what it is. And if you want to give me something, if you want sort of some self-help things to start with, is the 3 Ps. Get back out and do some exercise. Go for that walk. With or without your dog, go for that walk. In fact, going with the dog is quite good, because then start thinking about life as the dog thinks. Dog, you go out for a walk with the dog, you're thinking all over the place. The only thing the dog's concentrating is the walk.
Yeah.
So try and do that for yourself, just concentrate on the walk. Also positive interaction. Start going out with the friends that are positive around your life. If you've got negative friends, and that's quite often happens with people, they get into negative groups, and who've got the same problem, and they tend to bounce off each other. Yes, they can be those groups can be very beneficial. I'm not slagging them, but sometimes it can drag people back down.
Yeah.
So just be careful what you're dealing with, but get out there, enjoy your positive actions and interactions, and really they'll help you in your way. But I'm more than happy to speak to anybody on anything.
And people just search for Archie Hamilton Hypnotherapy.
You'll find me on Facebook as that, and also, as I say, my website is hypno.scot, www.hypno.scot, so hypno.scot. So it kind of, and if you want to email me, it's Archie at hypno.scot. So it kind of describes what I am and where I am. So that's it.
That's what it says on the tin. Well, thank you so much for joining me today,
Thank you
Archie.
very much.
That was wonderful, a great insight, and yeah, as you know, everything we do here is about helping people to live in natural harmony with their dogs. But obviously, you need to take care of you first before you can then give your dog the best positive experience in life. So
thank you very much for having me here.
Thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed that and you've had some real insight on there, and I will see you on the next podcast. Take care. Bye.